everybody. I'm Noelle.
And this is Jenna.
And this is More Than Murder, where we delve into everything eerie with a side of true crime.
More Than Murder is not your typical true crime podcast. Join us on a tour through the haunted, the bloody, the creepy, and the nutty on our Freaky Fridays.
Hello.
Hi.
Are you ready for today's episode?
I think I am. Yeah, I know that it's kind of
not
gross,
pleasant.
Disturbing one. So,
yes.
Should we disclaimer?
I'm adding a warning for today's episode.
That's probably a good thing.
Triggers and all sorts of other things. Today we're going to be talking about the Ken and Barbie Killers, which even had a couple other nicknames along the way. But they were a married couple who also drew attention for their looks, so that's why they were called the Ken and Barbie Killers. The couple was known for raping and murdering young women and even a sibling of one of the two.
Garbage.
Yes, it is crazy. I would usually do ladies first, but to go in chronological order, we are just going to start with Paul. He was born first.
All right.
Paul Bernardo was born in Ontario, Canada in 1964. His parents had 3 children and he was the youngest of them. His parents were always fighting and his mom, Marilyn, didn't seem to like his dad, Kenneth, too much. Kenneth ended up getting into trouble with the law a bit later in life for pedophilia, being a creeper. Sorry, not...
Being a creeper. What a creeper!
So Kenneth ended up getting in trouble later in life with the law for pedophilia, being a peeper creeper. So he was a peeping Tom. Mistreating his children, and he also molested his daughter, Paul's sister. Yeah, so he had some pretty nasty tendencies.
So grossness just runs in the family line.
Yes, it does.
Fun! I think that's a precursor, guys.
Paul's mom would go visiting family members many times on the weekends because she just didn't want to be home with Kenneth, and would even just retreat to the basement when she was home. So she was very reclusive. She was kind of like that, a battered woman,
I wouldn't want to be near him.
I wouldn't either. No way. Especially if she knows what he did to their daughter and all this stuff. So Yuck indeed. From what I read, Paul was mostly unaware of how broken his home life was, but subconsciously there was something starting to go wrong. As a child, he was in the Boy Scouts, where they teach you how to start building fires and stuff.
Yeah.
And he really enjoyed that.
How to be that outdoorsy man.
Yeah, he started making fires quite often in the Scouts. There was not much elaboration on that, but it kind of led me to believe that he was starting fires
kind of thing.
In places he shouldn't have and when he wasn't told to and things like that.
I feel like that's something that's ingrained in men.
If you go... Explosives, fireworks, loud noises.
Just starting a fire, period. I went camping with a bunch of, my husband and some of his friends, and it was I want to build a fire, do it like this, do it like that. Oh, I'll get it started first.
I know, they all think they have the best way to build the wood,
yes, you gotta TP it. No, that TP is a mess. You gotta do this, and you gotta lay that, and, I don't get it. I guess it's all right, go ahead.
Cavemen know how to build fire.
I'm men, hear me roar. Yeah, that's...
I do that to Gustavo all the time when he thinks that he's doing manly things and he goes and kind of brags about it. I go,
yeah.
Because he's just like an ape beating on his chest.
That's the male syndrome. Which,
no offense.
I feel like if I had a fire pit, which I want to get one, I would be ooh, let me kind of start the fire. But I would be starting it with easy stuff. I'm not going to be sitting out there with my kindling and all that.
Oh no, we use kindling and stuff. No way. No, I do not like the idea of gas. I would just use kindling because that's what we have around.
Well, it burns
the
up
property,
anyway, and then you just have your fire and it just keeps going. You're done.
Oh gosh. So when he was 16 in 1981, his parents had a fight, which resulted in telling Paul that instead of being Kenneth's biological son, he was actually a product of sexual assault. And from... Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, literally, he found this awful piece of news out. And from then on, he hated his mother for it, even though she was the victim and was sexually assaulted.
I know, it's hard. It's hard.
Called her awful names like whore and slut. And at this point, after this is now her third child, which apparently, she was sexually assaulted while still being, in a relationship and having her own other kids already. Mm-hmm. She responded to him by calling him a bastard. So that's kind of painful because of the situation and stuff.
Yeah.
She hasn't had a great life. She's been abused and all this other stuff. Yeah. And honestly, if someone started calling me that after being victim to something, I probably wouldn't respond well either.
No, especially because that's something that is so
very personal,
painful and traumatic, and you have a child out of that too.
Yeah, and she still chose to have the child rather than not, and then that child ends up calling her these disgusting words for this act, which wasn't her fault. I probably would have responded something similar.
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
yeah.
At this point, I'm tired of that shit. No way are you gonna start saying that to me.
Well, something like that anyway is hard on both parties.
Right.
He's just finding out that his world is completely different when he's really at that age where it's like, who the fuck am I now? Mm-hmm. He's probably having this identity crisis. He's not sure who he is. Who the hell's his dad? Like, holy fuck. And then she's also reliving this traumatic experience. It probably just was not... He's a teenage boy. It's not going to go well either way.
Well, not only that, but he seems to really, in the future, take on the personality of his stepfather or whatever. Because, a lot of his tendencies are Paul's tendencies in the not-so-distant future.
Yeah.
At this time, Paul had a girlfriend, but she left him for his friend, which he didn't enjoy. That made him really mad. And she left him apparently because of his controlling behavior, which we'll see later with Karla.
Mm-hmm.
He retaliated by burning, of course, setting ablaze all the things that she had given to him in the past, which, we've seen it in movies all the time. You go to the metal barrel and you put the clothes in and the pictures in the books and you light it all on fire with the gasoline. And so it's like a movie. He did it like a movie.
Oh, God. Taylor Swift has her Picture to Burn song. And was it Shay? I don't even remember what it was. I literally stood out there and I'm like, is your picture to burn? And I burned his fucking picture. And I think it was like rainy. I was under an umbrella. It was like the moment. I've literally done that.
It is quite funny when you think about it in your head because you see him doing this total movie scene.
Yes. Oh gosh.
By the time he got into college, he obviously wasn't really a nice guy. I guess he would listen to all these motivational speakers and stuff, and he would take what they said about confidence and whatever kind of speakers he was listening to and would use that to seduce women.
There were people out there who literally taught men how to pick up women, and it was not in a good way. It was really sexist. It was really bad, so that's probably literally what he was doing.
The kind of speakers he was listening to. He would seduce younger women in bars and started to have dark, gross fantasies. He seemed to develop a specific taste in women, and this taste is probably why he picked up and focused on younger women in the bars, because his preference was virgins, of course.
Mm-hmm. Not a new concept, unfortunately.
No.
A gross concept.
And virginity is honestly the most antiquated concept right now in the whole world anyways. We're not going to get into that, but you can look up on Google why. Okay. Okay. So this fantasy is disgusting, and it was to create a virgin farm where he would, quote, breed virgins to rape.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Like, he literally wanted to breed girls for him to rape.
I wonder what they would have done, with the boys.
I don't know, and I don't understand what he means by breed virgins, or if he meant,
Oh, he's probably...
meaning...
having sex with the virgins, maybe getting them pregnant.
That's what I was thinking. It's either that, or he means, literally grooming these girls as the virgins for him to rape. I don't know.
Who knows? Because really, I mean, if that's his plan, this is going to sound awful, guys, and I'm sorry, I don't know how else to say this. It's going to be done after one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, the girl will be what? What will he do with her after that?
Mm-hmm. I know.
She's not a virgin anymore.
Well, that's why he says a virgin farm, where they would just, like you said, breed virgins. And it's just...
Oh, gosh, you're gross, dude.
It is seriously disgusting. And the amount of entitlement he feels...
Oh, 100%.
I mean, it's just so angry.
Yeah.
Like,
women belong to him.
Right.
They are for him to do what he sees fit.
women are not incubators. They do not belong to you. They only belong to themselves. Even if you're married, even if no matter what,
Yep.
the woman is her own person, is her own body.
Yep.
This is gross and disgusting. And if you think anything like this, please stop listening.
Or go talk to somebody.
Oh, gosh. And of course, when it came to sex, because Paul was already a very controlling person, he was into being very forceful.
Yeah, he's dominant. You can tell that he's very dominant.
And he enjoyed forceful anal sex.
Wonderful.
So anal is just so comfortable in the first place, and now it's...
Forcibly doing it is... Oh, poor girls.
That's just great. He also liked to degrade his dates in public. And so he would be out with them and just would shame them and call them names in front of all these people. He dated more than one woman at a time. So I'm sure they ran into each other, you know, like in the movies. And he was known for being abusive, and he also threatened to kill his girlfriends if they told anyone about his treatment of them and what he does to them.
Can't lose the power.
Of course. 2 women were granted restraining orders on Paul when he started making obscene phone calls to them in 1986, which I'm surprised he didn't go after them.
Yeah.
But that's something that happened. They were, you know, they didn't care how scared they were still going to call and, like, make that restraining order. In 1987, he decided to stop dating, it seems, after his last girlfriend threatened to go to the police about Paul's abuse. And that year in May is when he started to do other gross things. He raped 2 women, and in July he attempted to rape another. And after that is when he met Karla.
Mm-hmm.
Enter Karla, stage left.
Oh, Karla. What the fuck, Karla?
Yeah, Karla's a piece of fucking work, y'all.
Because we already know how this guy is. Oh,
yeah.
God, here we go.
Karla Homoka was born in 1970, so I think she's like 5 or 6 years younger than Paul.
Yeah.
She also was born in Ontario, Canada. There's like a lot of little towns in Ontario. So she was born in a town called Port Credit, and Paul in Scarborough, Canada. Karla was the oldest of 3 girls. Her 2 little sisters were Tammy and Lori.
Yep.
Their dad was an alcoholic and would degrade his daughters as well as his wife whenever he went off the deep end on a drinking binge, of course.
So she's not having a very good time either.
Well, no and yes, because when he wasn't on a drinking binge, Karla's dad was actually known to dote on Karla, and she seemed to be like his favorite kid. Like, he would just dote on her, but then when he was drunk, of course, he didn't like anybody and took it out on everybody.
I get it.
Yeah, I know.
I get it.
I thought so. So, her
presents don't make up for the fact that you're a drunk, guys. I'm sorry.
Dude, nothing is like unconditional love, and conditional love means gifts. And you cannot buy people's love.
You can't.
You cannot.
And it doesn't make up for crap behavior. I'm sorry.
No.
But that's it.
Her parents' marriage also wasn't going well, and her dad began seeing another woman on the side.
Ooh.
But instead of his wife being angry and leaving, she suggested that they have a threesome with her and to continue on as normal instead.
Did they continue on as normal?
As far as I'm aware, I saw nothing about them being divorced.
Wow, okay.
I mean, if it's going to be like a progressive relationship and that's how they want to handle it, then...
Yes, but I don't feel like I would do that with the mistress. I feel like maybe I'd find somebody else who's kind of out of, I don't know.
Maybe the wife thought the mistress was hot as fuck, too.
Could be.
Maybe the wife was like, okay, I see.
But it could also be, I mean, look at Karla and how it was like, this man is going to tell me what to do, and I'm going to... You know what I mean? Maybe her mom was kind of...
Well, the thing is that Karla...
Maybe Dad hinted at it. Well, maybe if, I wouldn't have to da-da-da.
Yeah,
and then she felt obliged.
This says that the mother suggested it, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, true.
I'm not very sure. But Karla, when she was a younger lady, she had a very dominant and stubborn personality. A very headstrong young woman.
Love makes people do crazy things, though.
Yeah, she wasn't known for being able to make compromises, and she had no problem speaking her mind to adults, which, I mean, sounds like me when I was a kid, honestly. My parents always said, well, at least we know no one's going to push her around.
Yeah, for real.
At one point, Karla got to secondary school at Sir Winston Churchill Secondary School, and she became kind of like this rebel girl. She didn't dress to her school code. She apparently did start cutting herself and making false suicide attempts for attention, which, if she's crying out for attention, like, someone give it to her and find out what the heck is going wrong instead of being like,
yeah,
oh, she's just trying to get attention and leave it at that. I can't stand that. Like, obviously, she's trying to get attention for a reason.
God, is this
kind
of me?
It's awful.
Holy fuck. My parents got me attention, though.
Yeah.
Therapy.
Yeah.
And it helped.
So, I guess in high school is when her personality shifted to having more masochistic and sadistic tendencies. She ended up getting a part-time job at a vet's office, which I swore I was going to read something like some horror stories about her working at the vet's office.
But it doesn't happen?
Nah, she doesn't do anything with animals, but she does get some medications and some things from there.
That makes sense.
She steals some things from there, but I know now that's why they mentioned it in this article, but I was like, oh God. Because it literally said, like I did, she had these tendencies, and then she got a job at the vet, and I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, these poor babies. The dog doesn't die, does he?
Hey,
just like people, in movies.
Some people are just she might have been very loving to the animals. You never know. She might have just been there like, oh, little puppy.
I mean, some of us just don't like people. And like animals a lot better.
I mean, I'd rather be around my animals than go to a party with a bunch of people.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, gosh. So, in October, when Karla was 17, she was attending some sort of, like, pet store conference at a hotel. I don't understand, like, the pet store conference.
You gotta go on that pet store circuit, guys. All of them. We got a tour going.
Yeah, she, like, worked for a vet's office, but she's going to, like, some sort of pet store conference. Okay, I guess maybe she want to, like, start her own pet store in the future, maybe. I don't know.
Or maybe it had, like, different vendors with, like, different, like, foods and things like that they could maybe
use at the vet's office.
You know how the vet, like, the
Sells
one I
them.
go to, it's like Science Hill diet.
Yeah.
So they kind of have their little
true
thingy with them. So maybe that's what it's
You'd
all
think
about.
It'd be like a veterinary conference, though, not like a pet store conference.
Yeah, that is a bit weird.
It
you
is
would think.
weird.
It's just random.
That's just from the source I read, y'all. So if it wasn't like a pet store conference, please let me know what you've heard it as.
Maybe it's a veterinary one.
Maybe. Anyways, this conference was held at a hotel in Scarborough.
Okay.
This is where she met 23-year-old Paul Bernardo.
Why was he there, do you know?
He was just, like, at the hotel. He lived in Scarborough, so he might have been, like, staying there with some girl or who knows.
But even some hotels have a bar or a restaurant. Yeah. Maybe he was just out, that was the place to be.
Yeah. So, of course, they just instantly fell for each other. Love at first sight. Oh, you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. No, you're more beautiful. I love you so much.
What a Cinderella story.
Yep. And to make it much more romantic, in front of their friends later on in the night, that same night, they had sex in one of the hotel rooms. So, like, in front of their friends, they just were, like, doing it. Maybe it was a whole sex party. Who knows?
Oh, gosh. I just can't.
But they were just getting it on. And... Yeah. So that's how they started. Very, very romantic start to their story here.
Yes, very much so.
As we know, Paul was a very controlling person and lost previous girlfriends because of it. Mm-hmm. And he started to do the same with Karla. He would control what she ate, what she wore, where and when she would go places, etc. Like all the classic controlling
all the classic,
things.
Yeah.
He also liked to degrade Karla, as he would with his other dates, and would call her fat and ugly regularly, and even gave her a list of self-improvements that she needed to work on. Carla was honestly, like, a good-looking woman.
Yeah, that's why they're called the Ken and Barbie Killers.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
she was in shape. She was this blonde lady, you know.
But that's how you have to get that person in control. Because then they feel, I'm absolutely worthless. I am worth absolutely nothing more than this relationship. I might as well stay and just take it. I'm ugly. I'm wrong. You're absolutely right. It's just...
it's a whole cycle, and he knows exactly what he's doing.
It's crazy how you can just take a mind and completely just, you know, like clay, just shape it into what you need. Takes a while, but it...
You can totally crush a spirit and a soul. So, though Carla was a domineering person, there are other factors I thought about as to, like, why she would allow herself to be in the situation as a dominant person already.
Yeah.
She was only 17, which is, you know... still very immature, you know. Now I was very mature as a 17-year-old, but I'm not as mature now as I am now. You know?
Exactly. Same.
So I was one of those mature teenagers, obviously, as most girls and women are. And then, but you know, you always mature more and more as you grow. So while she was domineering to boys maybe her own age, this is a man who's 6 years older than her, who has now worn her down, you know, and call it naivety of a young woman or just being frightened. You know, that's one of the reasons. Also, she did have sadistic and masochistic tendencies, which maybe she was turned on by being his submissive in this case.
Could be, yeah.
You know, if she is that type of person who feels those kinds of things, maybe this is her thing. You know, she likes to be...
You never know.
Run down and everything. I almost tend to lean more towards this side in this case for some reason because of the sheer participating that she did and how she later on in the story and all this stuff. So
that's true.
I don't know, it's tough, but I tend to lean more towards that here.
Yeah, there's just so many factors that could come into play. It's just there's no way to know.
Paul found out that Carla was not a virgin, and he got really upset. Which, honestly, I'm not making assumptions about people, but if a girl is willing to meet you and then that same night, you know, do the damn thing with you, chances are she's done this before.
Yeah.
Chances are this is not her first time.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, most girls are not going to do that their first time, Paul. Like, duh, you're not that special, you know? So
unless the love was enough, I don't know.
Okay, so Paul found out that Carla was not a virgin and got really upset.
Oh, of course.
Instead of ending the relationship with Carla upon hearing this, quote, news, my goodness.
Clutch my pearls.
Yeah.
I knew that was going out.
I literally clutched my Labradorite necklace. I'm like,
blasphemy.
So, yes. Instead of leaving, he just got pissed and decided to go and rape more young women.
Naturally.
That's just his natural progression. This won Paul the name of the Scarborough Rapist. So Paul now is going to have two names. He first and foremost is the Scarborough Rapist, and then he becomes one of the Ken and Barbie Killers. Yes.
That's the thing, though, too. If you have a name, you're
serial.
Big potatoes. Like, you're doing this a lot. You have fear instilled in this community and these females. Wow. Good Lord.
Because what I have spoken about so far is not all of his cases. I will, at the end, I have like a little timeline. I'll just read off to you guys. He's doing a little bit
in between, you know, but...
And, so there's a lot of cases on him. So...
Garbage.
The police put together a task force in March of '88.
Okay.
But it would literally take 2 whole years before they even decided to release the composite sketch to the public. Why?
I don't know, because that's something that you make to release to the public. It's not just...
Yeah.
I guess they could make it to show to other victims, but I feel like that is something that is always let out.
Yeah, this is just ridiculous already, right? So...
Great police work.
Yep, they have a composite sketch. They don't decide to release it till 2 years later.
No. And who knows if every sexually abused person who reports it is even shown that. Because I'm like, oh, that's different MO. We're not even going to, like,
right.
Who knows?
Half the time they're not believed anyway, so.
Yep.
Once they did, of course, they had literally numerous tips from people and various women that he'd been with and abused and threatened before.
That's someone that you remember. Like, if you're dating that guy, I feel like that's someone you remember and you're like, I'm going to see this name.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling this guy's
Especially,
off.
like,
the ones that were putting restraining orders on him.
Especially when you're being degraded by this person. You remember that face. You know who this person is.
Yep.
And the police never followed up on those tips because of the number of tips they already had to go through. So these women who are claiming that they have been abused and threatened by him and dated him, those tips are not being followed up on.
Why do you have a task force? A task force is created so that all of your energy can go towards that.
Yeah.
It's not like these officers are working other fucking cases. They're on this task force. They can call through the fucking tips.
Well, that's the thing. This officer handles 50. This officer handles 50. This officer handles 50.
Exactly.
This officer handles 50.
Exactly. You have a fucking task force. Your energy goes to this case.
I mean, is it surprising?
No.
At this point, we
that's
are
why I laugh, because it's so
routine.
Expected.
Yeah, every time. This is 25 episodes in, and even still when I listen to other cases, it's just crazy. It's always
like that.
Like, what the fuck? So first they don't release the composite sketch till 2 years later. Then actual women
they're getting tips. They're getting active freaking tips
from women who are like, this is who this is. Mm-hmm. I have seen, this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Not paying attention to them. Mm-hmm. They actually could have helped solve the case right from the start.
That's the thing. Okay. That's what tips are for. You hear cops who are like, we wish we could have gotten tips. It was a cold case. So they're getting tips. Work them tips.
Yeah, they had the task force put together.
For no fucking reason.
Did the composite sketch, but then didn't release it. So this task force is just sitting here with this fucking composite sketch, twiddling their thumbs.
They probably
while more people are being raped and murdered.
The task force is probably just a thing to put up to make the community feel like they were fucking doing something.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a task force.
Don't worry, women.
It. We have a composite sketch, which is very promising. And then they're not doing anything.
Nope. And it's like...
We're ragey. We're getting ragey.
Well, they always... with all the rules we have to follow as women to be safe all the time. And then the police are supposed to be there to help. Here's women that are coming forward. Here's a face you have. And you're still not doing anything about it but pretending. And that's just so angering. I'm so tired.
Did you see the TikTok? I think it was TikTok where it said, like, not all men. And then women would hold up something and said, but all women have to. And then whatever, hold your car keys in your hand. I have not seen that,
but I want to see that.
Buy pepper spray and be alert at all times. Like, no, not all men, but all women have to do this.
Yeah.
Because we live in fucking fear.
Mm-hmm.
And no one cares.
Mm-hmm.
We go missing. We show up dead and we go cold. Mm-hmm. Nothing is found out. It's bullshit.
Yep.
Do your job.
And when the perpetrator is found, they get a piddly-ass sentence that they literally only serve 6 months of, Brock Turner. And
because
then,
of their future.
But our future means nothing.
No, our future literally means nothing. We were put on this earth to make fucking babies.
Yeah. Yep. So that's why we're angry. Sorry about it.
We're ragey.
Not sorry.
Not sorry.
Not sorry at all.
Ugh.
Fuck the patriarchy.
Fuck the patriarchy.
How many times we should count how many times we've said that in these episodes.
I know.
Oh my gosh. God. So, at this point, obviously, Paul has had to quit his job. Mm-hmm. He apparently started smuggling cigarettes from the U.S. into Canada for his monetary purposes.
Were they cheaper?
He was a cig smuggler.
Must have been cheaper.
Either that or maybe they had different brands at the time. Maybe they're like, I want a Marb, and they didn't have Marbs. They only had, like, Marbellas or something, or who knows? I don't know. So, he was a cig smuggler. That's what I call them now, a cig smuggler. So, November of 1990.
Okay.
2 cops even visited Paul as a POI. Not a piece of shit, but a person of interest. They took his blood and spit samples.
Oh, shit.
But never fucking tested him for 2 years. 2 years! That's how important it was to catch a man who was raping young women left and right.
When was DNA?
Enough to earn himself a nickname. Oh, this is in 1990. They had DNA.
Okay.
They definitely had DNA. It's just crazy. They wait to release the composite. They get samples. They don't even send them to a motherfucking lab.
Nope.
Like, what is happening? Okay, this guy has earned himself a nickname with how much he's been raping women, and it's taking all this time.
It happens a lot, unfortunately.
All the time.
All the time.
If they believe you in the fucking first place.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
And back in the day, it was way worse. I like to have a little bit of hope with our technology. Back in the day with the technology, it was just, you were a little more fucked. You were a little bit easier to get away with stuff. Mm-hmm. But still, I mean, there's just blatant shit that is not done.
The police even ignored a claim from a victim that Karla was actually present for her attack and even was the one recording the incident on camera.
Oh, shit.
And they ignored it. In fact, Karla knew what Paul was doing during that whole time period.
Oh, yeah.
And this is when the darkness grows for both of them.
And that's why their relationship was the best out of all of them, because she could really accept me for who I am.
Such scum.
Yeah.
So, major escalation. Here's the third nickname we run into. The Schoolgirl Murders.
Oh, wait. He's going to escalate.
Oh, wait. He's about
or just wait. One of those. All right. Ooh, that's a scary name.
The Schoolgirl Murders. It's awful.
It's like, of course, the Scarborough. Like, that's, terrifying, but that's just
Rapist. The Schoolgirl
Murders. Like,
the Ken and Barbie Killers.
I feel like that's a horror movie I've seen.
Yeah, it definitely was. I've seen definitely like college fraternity.
Yes.
And the killers go in. What was that called? Wolf something. Oh, that was a good
There are like 30,000.
I know.
Because I have one in my head too.
I want to watch a slasher now.
Oh my gosh, I love a good fucking slasher.
We got Jeepers Creepers on the list. Now we got a slasher. Is it still gloomy out?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh God. All right, here we go. Here we go with the shit.
Okay.
More shit, I should say. The worst shit.
It's just piling.
Yeah.
It's just shit piling up.
So it's later in 1990. The cops are still trying to figure out who Paul actually is. Okay. Even though they already have his samples and like tips and all this shit. He apparently has a thing for Karla's younger sister Tammy, who is 15 years old at the time.
Ugh.
He becomes infatuated with Tammy.
Yeah.
He would like spy on her and watch her and stuff. So now, not only does he prefer younger women, like underage, like his dad with his pedophilia problem, but he's now peeping. And who knows how long he's done that for, just like Kenneth, his dad, also.
Yeah.
Paul then devises a sick fucking plan with Karla, Tammy's own sister.
Tammy's own sister. Let's drill that.
Yes.
Drill that in.
The plan was that Karla would make sure her sister remained a virgin until the chance arose for Paul to rape Tammy.
Oh, yeah, I remember that detail. Oh, yes. God.
So the first time, because they had to try multiple times to accomplish this, and Karla was just going right along with it, with this plan to hurt her sister in such a sickening, awful way. So the first time the two tried to do this, Karla had stolen Valium from the vet clinic where she worked and attempted to lace Tammy's food with it, but Tammy was only out for about a minute, which obviously wasn't long enough for Paul to be able to do anything.
Yeah, no.
And the second time was after a family dinner for Christmas on December 23rd. Karla wanted to gift
her
Tammy's virginity to Paul.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's awful.
I just imagine that conversation.
Yep.
Surprise! Ugh, gross.
So, and this poor girl, she's only 15 years old.
And has no idea. Like, she probably is like, alright, this guy's being fucking weird, dude.
Yeah.
She probably, like, told Karla. She probably told people, because he sounds like he's being a fucking...
Yeah.
Creep show.
I know.
But just, oh my god.
And the fact that Karla has no problem that her own man is so obsessed with her sister. Also.
Right?
Like,
no.
It's all wrong. It's all nasty. Every bit of it. It's just terrible.
I know.
And just fair warning, what comes next is every bit worse, you guys. So, while their parents were asleep upstairs, the couple spiked a drink of Tammy's with sleeping pills, and she was out. Paul undressed Tammy, and Karla had also stolen an anesthetic from work called halothane, I want to say. It was like an anesthetic.
Okay.
With which she soaked a towel and held it over Tammy's nose and mouth to prevent her from waking up. So she just kept breathing in this anesthetic, and who knows if it was obviously moist, so it was probably dripping. I don't know.
Oh, something. Oh, God.
Paul proceeded then to rape Karla's younger sister while she helped hold Tammy down. At this point, Tammy began to throw up and subsequently stopped breathing while Karla was still holding her down, and she was unable to clear her throat because Karla just kept sitting on her and holding her down while she's choking on her vomit. So Tammy passes away, and neither Karla nor Paul chose to revive Tammy. They instead chose to clean up their mess. They got Tammy dressed and brought her to her room, all before calling 911.
Jesus fuck.
That is so fucking awful.
I'm sorry, Tammy.
Yeah, my heart is like so crushed for Tammy because that's her own sister. She's watching this happening. Like, no, she was out. Okay, so she was out. But she knows that her sister was the one involved. I mean, I don't know. It's terrible. It's just terrible.
It is terrible. It's just awful.
I have it's just awful. I have no words. Even though I have 1,000 words left on my document here, I have just no words.
No, the fact that they just literally cleaned everything up and went to, hide their crime.
Karla had no remorse for her sister. It's just disgusting.
No, it was all about that man. And she needed to make that man happy by giving him this Christmas present. Fuck you.
Just disgusting. Tammy's death would be ruled, guess what? An accident. Even though her face showed evidence of a chemical burn, which obviously would suggest at least foul play.
Something of the sort.
Something.
Yeah.
Like an unnatural, something happened. If she's got chemical burns on her face from this anesthetic that's not supposed to be sitting on your face like that, this must have been happening for a long time in order for this to burn her face. And I'm just like, ugh, God, it's just awful.
It is awful.
So the police ruled that an accident and foul play, so nobody was implicated in that. Later in 1993, so I'm going to jump forward just for a brief second, Tammy's remains were to be exhumed for the later case that will obviously come about. And it was found that Karla and Paul had somehow snuck a picture of themselves into Tammy's casket before it was buried. As just a last fuck you to,
they don't care.
To her sister.
They literally don't care. No. He got what he needed, and it's done. He's done with it. Discarding it.
I even read that Karla was laying in the casket.
I believe it.
And he was stroking her hair and stuff.
Oh, I think
these people are disgusting.
I heard that.
And that's why I kept leaning to the fact that Karla is not just a little victim in this. She was treated as a victim where he would control her and make her feel that way, but this is something completely different.
She had the piece that Matt just meshed with his perfectly, and they just completed each other's 6 cycles.
And they even said she had that dominant, so that's where her dominance gets to come in. And her sadism and masochism is because she's the one that gets to help pin these girls down and do whatever needs to be done for him to get his sick thing off. And it's so gross, Karla. You're fucking Gross. Anywho, after this event, Karla would dress in her little sister's clothing while the two would role play the sexual encounters between Paul and Tammy and would videotape it, no less.
That is sickening.
Which is just fucking obscene.
Sickening.
Yeah.
It's just awful.
She literally played out the scene of her sister perishing and even dressed up in her clothing. And it's just mind-blowing. Like, people like that just shouldn't exist in this world.
No. Why? Why do they exist?
I don't know.
Why is this a thing?
I don't know, and I will never be... That is something I will never blame on mental illness. Pedophilia, rapists, things like that. No, I'm just sorry. I don't care if you think that you can be... You shouldn't exist. I'm sorry. It's awful to say. That's how I feel.
I know.
With how it takes so much away, and with how women are never believed and all this other stuff. That's why I just say I don't care.
And little children.
You just shouldn't exist.
Children should just be safe.
Yeah,
with
my
everything.
God.
They should just be safe. They should never, ever, 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 ever have to go through something traumatic like that.
There are people that do it to babies in diapers.
Yes.
So it's like, no, I don't believe that you should even have a chance. You should just not exist. I'm sorry. I just wish I could snap my fingers and make all those people disappear because... That's all sorts of unnecessary trauma to people, and it's horrible trauma that, oh, God.
No.
Just
remember,
just not okay
guys, people are not yours to do what you please with.
No means no.
No means no.
Always. And no is a full sentence.
Yes.
Girls,
yes.
No is a full sentence.
Yes, it is.
You do not have to explain your decisions.
Fuck no.
If you just want to say no and they keep asking, you just say no because I said no. So
you don't have to fucking explain yourself to anybody.
You don't owe an explanation. No is a full sentence. You guys.
Good Lord.
Okay.
Fucking key.
At some point in 1991, Karla had befriended a teenage girl at her workplace who later went on to testify in court. So this is a victim who did survive. Mm-hmm. On June 7th, Karla invited the teen over to their house and again laced her drink. And when the girl passed out, she told Paul she had a wedding gift for him. So she just keeps gifting him these things. And they're not married yet. They get married, oh my God, on Finn's birthday.
And it sounds like...
on Finn's birthday.
Oh, my mom's birthday too.
Yeah. It's awful. I read that. I'm like, shit.
You're going to think about that every fucking year.
I sure
Happy
am.
Anniversary. So the girls now are not picked by him. They're being picked by her. They're people she knows, and she's just procuring them
somewhat.
For him.
Yeah, because he does
some
still pick some himself.
All
yeah, because there's I think the next one he...
But this one was a gift that was kind of just procured by...
Because she likes it too. She gets off on it. And so that's why I know she's not of it. She wouldn't be bringing girls home and tricking girls if she... Like, that's her own choice. She does not have to do that while she's out.
No.
You know?
She does not.
So, of course, they filmed themselves raping the girl because they literally film themselves doing everything all the time. You know, they film everything. They film all their shit.
And is she active more? Is she just holding them down at this point, or is she kind of being more active?
They don't describe.
Because it says as they, assaulted this woman. So
this one source that I read did not say. It's very possible another source may have gotten into more detail, which I was going to say I'm kind of giving a very condensed version because this is a very long story, surprisingly.
Yeah.
And I didn't really want to get into too much of that. So if you do want to find out more, you can definitely click on the episode sources for the blog because all those I found lots of different sources that I was reading through that you will find, actual in-depth, the time things happened and stuff like that. And I just wasn't going to get into, all that.
No, too much.
So if you're into finding all that out, definitely go and click on the episode sources on the blog because those will probably have more in-depth stuff. I'm giving you a very condensed version.
Which is still not great.
Yeah, it's still kind of
good,
rough.
But it's just not great.
Yeah, and as a lady, I just was I didn't want to have to get into that. I didn't want to... I'm so tired of fucking this bullshit happening, and it's just hard to read about and read about and then write about and write about.
I know, it just sucks because it's a woman
doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the problem. Yeah, it's so
and
awful.
I want to know how fucking involved, really. I mean, yes, holding her down is involvement, but I want to know, She sounds a lot like Paul.
Yeah, I have a feeling that she partook.
Kind of, they're kind of seeming like the same
And
person.
He probably asked her to partake. And sometimes she probably was the one recording or...
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
Good fucking Lord.
I think there's documentaries. We should watch some.
Oh, I'm sure. I think that's where I learned it from, was like a women killers type of docu where I'm like, ooh, I gotta eat this up. Mm-hmm. And she was on it, and it's like, oh, fuck.
So the girl that they were just doing that to, she woke up the next day. She was not...
Perish.
It almost seemed like that if the girls did, it kind of... Either was accidental.
Yes, it went too far.
And they just didn't care. Mm-hmm. Or there was one time when, I'll get into that later, a girl ends up seeing who they are, even though she already kind of knew who it was.
So they kind of are like, we have to...
Yeah. They get worse. They escalate, of course.
That's the thing, though. If I'm this girl that I'm like... This last girl worked with Karla, right? Is that what you said? So I'm going back to Karla's house, and then I don't remember anything that happened. I'm not dumb. Mm-hmm. I'm not fucking stupid. I can tell my body, and I can be like, okay, I did not have that much to drink. Mm-hmm. They drugged my ass.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it. That's what it says, too, is that she woke up not feeling well, but she was unaware. So the drugs worked because she had no idea that that's what happened, but obviously something weird happened.
Exactly. Like, if I'm having... I guess I can't tell how many drinks she had, but it doesn't sound like they're, like, getting her drunk and then doing that. Maybe, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like if I just black out, I don't black out in my life. Yeah. I can take control of myself pretty good.
Yeah.
I like to be in control of myself. So if I go to a place like this and then I'm, like, done for, I know something happened.
Well, yeah, that's it. You'd know because, like, I think that they did have lots of drinks typically with these girls. So it could be that they were drunk, and who knows how...
Yeah, and
who
knows?
Some people, this one was?
Some people black out more than other people. Some people just drink more than other people.
Yeah.
I've just never been... I don't like not feeling in control of myself, so I wouldn't put myself in that situation.
Yeah. On June 15th, Paul was on a mission to steal license plates off cars for his cig smuggling business.
Okay, I mean...
Yeah, but it just kind of makes me laugh, because instead of stealing the cars, he's stealing different plates,
license plates,
but driving around in the same car.
Yeah.
Like, duh. It's always going to be, like, the same motherfucking car. So if somebody keeps getting reports, the cops will catch on that, okay, there's different license plates, but... How the fuck is it possible that it's the same motherfucking car?
They might not, though. Like, that's the fucking thing. This guy was probably getting away with it.
Well, they're idiots. They never figure shit out. Just like we come across anyways.
We have this guy that looks like this, and he's driving this car, but he's from Texas. He's not from Minnesota.
Yeah, this guy looks the same. He looks exactly the same, too, but he's from Michigan.
Although he's probably
But the car's the same.
Because he's probably stealing Canadian plates, not U.S. plates.
Oh, yeah, duh.
I'm just not very...
But still, you get the drift. That's the point we're trying to make. All right, so after laughing about the fact that he's stealing different car plates, but driving the same car, he looks the same anyway. Mm-hmm. On June 15th, while he was out on his mission, he came across a 14-year-old girl named Leslie Mahaffey, who was locked out of her house for, like, bad behavior or something. Parents locked her out of the house, which
fucking
also remind me of...
Fucking been there.
Yeah, I know. But I was there for you.
I remember a night, man, sitting in the car calling you, oh, you ain't gonna kick that house again.
And I was, like, 11. My mom's like, oh, we'll go get her.
I'm okay, guys. I'm okay. Life was a little rough my teen years, but I'm all right.
Yeah, you got a good support system. Which is me.
Yeah.
And Sean, yes, but... The OG Sean, sorry. Anyway, I'll share. Okay, so she asked Paul if he had any cigarettes. To which he responded, yeah, but, they're in my car, so let's go get them from my car. Okay. And so... She ends up going over to his car. He ends up getting her blindfolded and shoving her in his car.
Oh, you can't see where I have the cigarettes because
I think that was just a lure to get her to the car, and then once she was there,
forcibly put it on. Okay,
that's what I'm thinking. Is that once she was there, he kind of put that blindfold on and kind of like kicked her ass in the car. You know,
I'm just picturing like, okay, hold on.
Yeah. It's a special kind of cigarette from America that I smuggled here.
You can't see what they are where I hide them.
Yes. So he took her home to Karla, and he introduced the girl as their quote playmate, which. You guys, if you're into this type of stuff, I am not judging you, but do not be kidnapping girls, taking or even using anything with underage girls, and don't
drugging
be
people.
drugging. Yeah, you cannot do that. No. Have them invite them over and tell them what your plans are, and ask them if they're into the same thing, and if they are, then yes, that's okay. That's called, adult play, normally like consensual, but this is not okay. No. Do not do this. So, he brings her home, introduces her as their playmate. Mm-hmm. They get their camera out. They, of course, recorded themselves raping Leslie. And she was blindfolded this whole time, but when the blindfold fell off, they decided that they needed to kill her, of course. Even though Leslie literally saw Paul.
Yeah, and like...
before he blindfolded her. Exactly. These people are, like, really big idiots, honestly.
And she was not drugged.
As far as I'm aware, I'm not sure. That this my source did not say, but...
Well, they might have just gotten better at restraining.
Mm-hmm. And they probably didn't want the girls drugged anymore. And that's probably something Paul liked, if they were awake and going through it. Uh-huh.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so it's awful in itself. So, they did kill her. I believe that they used some sort of cord. We'll get into that later to choke her with.
Asphyxiate.
Yep, they strangled her, and they put Leslie's body in the basement after they went upstairs and enjoyed a family dinner with Karla's family.
No!
Yes, with the Homokas upstairs.
How do you keep it together? I feel like I'd be a raging ball of nerves. I have a coffee and I'm shaking and I'm like, what the fuck?
I don't know. You just go back to normal. It's like nothing happened. These people are freaking crazy.
Yeah, but decompartmentalization, it can live in this part of your brain and then you just shut it off and you're like, I'm Susie Homemaker. Welcome, family.
Oh my God. So
making
scary.
Tuna noodle casserole before the freaking family comes over.
They eventually dismembered poor Leslie and threw her remains into Lake Gibson. And on June 29th, which is when Parla, I keep wanting to say Parla for Paul and Karla.
Paul and Karla, yeah.
I'm just going to call him Parla from now on. They got married that day on June 29th. Oh. And the same exact day, Leslie's remains were found.
Oh, shit.
Yes. So Leslie's remains.
She's like, I'm ruining your happy day, bitch.
Yep.
Can't keep me down.
A few months later in August, they invited over another young girl who, much like Tammy, stopped breathing while being raped by the couple, but was successfully revived this time. On April 16th, 1992, 15-year-old Kristen French was leaving the Holy Cross Catholic Secondary School when she was captured and kidnapped by Karla and Paul.
Jesus. And secondary school is like...
I think it's like high school.
Middle school, maybe?
Yeah. So you got elementary, then there's middle, then there's high school. I think it's middle school.
Okay. Yeah, because our school is very different from, like, UK and, like, all... Like, they have... It's weird.
It is
their
strange.
High school in, like, UK is, like, university, they call it, or something.
And then in places like Italy, they actually go off to their specialty, like, college-type courses... Like
younger,
very young, like during high school years, I believe. So
let us know, Canadian listeners. Another thing,
yeah,
morethanmurderpod@gmail.com.
Obviously, there were lots of people around when this happened this time.
Yeah, they're just letting out school. I mean, there's got to be kids and buses and parents and holy shit.
I was gonna say this was just as school was getting out, and therefore it left like a good amount of witnesses.
Dumbasses.
Yeah.
What license plate did he have?
I know. Can't be them. This time, the girl was kept for 3 days.
Oh, God.
During which time she had to endure some awful, nasty things. Mm-hmm. They forced her to act submissively to Paul while forcing her to watch the videos of Leslie's rape. Mm-hmm. Which is fucking awful.
Yeah, because you're like, that's going to happen to me. And it's terrifying.
They also forced her to drink copious amounts of alcohol, like guzzling.
Yeah.
The two of them, it says, raped the girl for 3 days until they strangled her to death with the same cord, apparently the same one that they had used to kill Leslie Mahaffey. Cord. I can only picture that there was like some sort of phone in the room.
Yeah.
And
like an extension cord of some sort.
Because it was that time. It was in the 90s. You had those wall phones with the long cords that were curly and all that. And that's kind of what I picture.
It's a thick cord, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aww.
So they again tossed her body in the basement while enjoying company later on, which was Carla's family again. They were all close with Carla's family after,
but not her sister Tammy.
Even after Tammy had, I mean, it's so messed up.
It's like they're putting on that show.
So later, after their company had left, they cleaned the body. They cut its hair before throwing it into I should say. It's just weird. I don't like it. Into a dumpster, I saw. But I also saw on another source a ditch. So, I'm not really sure. For a reason unbeknownst to me, on December 27th, Paul went on a rampage and literally beat the shit out of Karla with a flashlight.
Jesus.
She had 2 massive black eyes. Like, I mean, the most massive black eyes you've ever seen in your life. As well as bruising on her arms. Still, the next morning, she decided to go to work, and she said she got into a car accident, which her coworkers decided to call Karla's parents, and her parents took her to the hospital, where Karla claimed the role of the battered wife and actually filed charges against Paul. So the very first time something happened to her, like legit, she was like, no.
She didn't like it.
Which I have to give her credit in that aspect, only in that aspect.
And that's the thing is you don't piss off that person, Paul.
But why does, that's what I don't like about when these women are involved is that, okay, so it's okay for him, it's not okay for him to treat you that way.
No,
look at what you're doing to all these other fucking women, Karla.
But that's like, always what happens. They get scared, they get hit, something happens to them, and then it's like,
now I'm the victim.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it's so angry.
And they know all of your crimes. They're obviously going to turn you in.
And that's the thing. So she does later know that she's going to get caught or whatever. So luckily and coincidentally, during this time, the samples the police collected from Paul over 2 years ago had finally been processed and put into the system. And when he was arrested, they finally connected Paul to being the Scarborough Rapist.
Oh, okay.
So there's one thing already.
One thing down. Yep. It'll start to crumble.
It is crumbling, yes. At the end of all this, like I said, I'm going to include the timeline of all Paul's victims and then his and Karla's because his track record is just fucking disgusting. Yeah. So Karla went and moved in with her aunt and uncle, where she told them that Paul was not only the Scarborough Rapist, but was also the murderer of Leslie and Kristen. Karla tried to get full immunity for her cooperation, but instead she faced a 12-year prison sentence for manslaughter of 3, including her own sister, which was reopened for this case. And it was without the possibility of parole. And she also testified against Paul at his hearing, which was in 1995.
Of course.
Paul received life in prison without parole for at least 25 years. So he gets life, but he can't get paroled out until after possibly 25 years. But they're probably, from what I saw, it said that it's almost a sure thing that he won't ever get out because his track record before this and now with this, he's just a danger to society and they probably will never let him out, thankfully. But he even has to be segregated from the other prisoners because they want to hurt him so badly for all of these crimes that he committed.
Yes.
And there was actually a prison riot once where they all fled to his area and they had to be like broken up and so.
Damn.
Yeah.
He's not safe. Because
of the role everyone saw Karla play in the events that took place, because of their need to record everything.
Yeah, there's tons of fucking evidence.
Yeah. Her plea deal was super heavily criticized in Canada. The people were not happy.
12 fucking years?
Yeah.
I'm pissed at that.
Yeah.
I was going to wait until you said something about they reopened it and gave her life.
Yeah.
Because that's bullshit.
Her
12
own sister.
years.
And not only that, but there was more girls dead after that.
Early 20s at this point, if that.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't do the math in this one, but yeah, she's not very old.
I'm not doing the math either because I don't do math.
So... she was not a good person. The videos made it seem like she wasn't not enjoying taking part. She was very much enjoying what was going on. Still, she was released in 2005, and she moved to Guadeloupe to escape the public scrutiny for a while.
So they didn't put her on any witness protection or anything?
I don't know.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
In 2007, she met and married her current husband. And they had 3 children and moved back to Canada. So she lives in Canada now again. Not sure where.
I hope you're rehabilitated.
That's it.
I can at least hope she's rehabilitated.
Yeah.
She's out and about.
I know.
Please.
Please,
Oot and a
for
boot.
the love of God, please don't hurt any more people.
No.
You have children now. So here's the track record that I wanted to share with you.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Be prepared.
Yeah, I'm ready.
The Scarborough Rapes. Ugh, I hate that word. Rapes. This is just awful. So, by the way, this whole article that I was pulling information from was actually from a Criminal Minds Wikipedia fandom site. And they had all sorts of great information and even this timeline and everything. So, in 1987, May 4th, unnamed 21-year-old victim. May 14th, unnamed 19-year-old victim. July 17th, unnamed victim. Beat and attempted to rape, fled when she fought back. September 29th, unnamed 15-year-old victim. Threatened with a knife, assaulted, bit her ear, and attempted to rape inside her home. Fled when the victim's mother intervened. December 26th, unnamed 15-year-old victim. December 23rd, unnamed 17-year-old victim. Also violated sexually with a knife.
Oh my God.
Yep. That was just in 87. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cases just in 87. 88, we have April 18th, unnamed 17-year-old victim. May 30th, unnamed 18-year-old victim who was raped in a different town instead of Scarborough. October 4th, unnamed victim stabbed twice in the thigh and buttocks and attempted to rape. Fled when she fought back, and she survived. November 16th, unnamed 18-year-old victim. December 27th, unnamed victim attempted to rape but fled when a neighbor spotted and pursued him. 1989, June 20th, unnamed victim attempted to rape, fled when the victim fought back and screamed. So please always make as much noise as possible and always fucking fight back. Because these people a lot of times are not expecting that. They're looking for somebody who's going to be an easy target and be very vulnerable. Do not allow that. Just fight with all your might. And
even
always
if you kill me,
scream.
I will have your body right under my fingernails.
Yeah.
I'm scratching the fuck out of you. I have nails, and you're gonna get caught either way.
I'm digging my fucking thumbs into your eyeballs, okay? It feels gross, and I'm not even doing it right now, but I'm like, ugh,
I
gross.
know,
but
popping up.
I would do that, okay? Do not even step up to me in that. Do you want your eyeballs? Do you want your eyeballs pushed into your brain? I don't think so.
Oh, gosh.
So, anyways, August 15th, unnamed 22-year-old victim stalked her since the previous night. November 21st, unnamed 15-year-old victim. November 22nd, unnamed 19-year-old victim. May 26th, 1990, unnamed 19-year-old victim. And then it says, note, on May 25th, 1988, Bernardo had been intending to carry out another rape standing near a bus shelter when he was spotted by a uniformed Metro Toronto investigator who chased him away.
Ooh.
Of course, we have the 3 victims, Tammy Homoka, of course, which was Carla's younger sister, who was 15. Then we have Leslie Mahaffey and Kristen French. And there was I think there was also the unknown victim in there who survived, I thought.
Yeah.
The suspected victim, let's see. It says, the following were confessed or suspected attacks by Bernardo. Unspecified dates and location in 1986, up to 10 unnamed women, all raped by Bernardo, confessed in 2006.
Damn.
1991.
He's busy.
Yep. January 12th, January Girl was a pseudonym by Bernardo. Abducted by both and raped by Bernardo, was released. Bernardo confessed to the attack. April 6th, unnamed 14-year-old victim, possibly abducted and sexually assaulted by Bernardo alone. She was released. June 7th, Jane Doe, 15 years old, pseudonym, I don't know why it says pseudonym because it doesn't say one, was sedated by Homoka and raped by both. March 29th, 1992, two unnamed sisters were stalked and videotaped by Bernardo only. And then it says, note, there have been attempts to tie Bernardo back to the murder of Elizabeth Bain, who disappeared on June 19th, 1990, which was 3 weeks after his last attack as the Scarborough Rapist. Her body was never found, although her car was discovered 3 days later after her disappearance, with a large bloodstain on the back seat.
Oh.
And a man, Robert Baltovich, had already been wrongly convicted of the crime and spent 8 years in prison, and in a retrial in 2008 presented new evidence implicating Bernardo of the crime. And others have suggested links between Bernardo and the 1991 disappearance of Terry Anderson in St. Catharines, and also a string of rapes in Amherst, New York.
Oh, shit.
So he was literally preying on people everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So fucking scary, dude. You never know who you're walking amongst this world, and it's so scary.
Even with Tammy and her damn sister. You
Her
don't
own
know
sister.
anybody.
No. You don't know what anybody is capable of.
God, I'm going to get so paranoid.
I know.
I'm one of those people who just, like, shuts in and doesn't trust anybody.
Yeah.
And just, like, no.
I know. Some
Scary.
other details I read include his modus operandi, which I only have a portion of because the rest was kind of long. It said, quote, Bernardo targeted petite white women between 14 and 22 years of age, 5'11 to 5'3, and 95 to 135 pounds, that he saw walking alone at night in the vicinity of his home at the time. He would follow, stalk, and sometimes videotape them for a while before threatening them with a knife, raping them anally, and fleeing on foot.
Ugh.
So when they said that she was raped sexually with a knife, you can imagine where he was, like, literally. It's just goddamn awful.
Yeah. He's the worst.
So a quote from the FBI on Paul Bernardo himself, because he was now on FBI watch lists, and they were involved. It says, typically this type of offender starts his attacks in an area with which he's familiar. Anger is the primary behavior exhibited by the offender during his attacks, and his intent is to punish and degrade his victims, as we know. As he is angry with all women, which started from his mom being assaulted and he taking that out, thinking it's her fault.
Yep.
His anger is unmistakable when observing the excessive physical force he used against the victims. The escalation in violence is observable in a series of attacks, as he was using far more physical force against the victims than was necessary to control them. Based upon our research and experience, that if confronted by a victim who vigorously resisted his attack, the offender was the type who would likely become so enraged he could lose control and thereby become capable of unintentionally murdering the victim. The sadist achieves gratification by the victim's response to his attempts to dominate and control her, either physically or psychologically, by posing a question that would make the victim beg for her life.
Jesus.
So there is more to that, but that was all I'm going to read because it's also very long. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting coming from the FBI, and like that was their profile on him and everything like that. So that is that awful case.
Yep.
And it was like a lot more than what I thought. I thought for some reason it was just Tammy, but it was a lot more. And
I kind of thought it was just Tammy too. I'm surprised that Yeah,
that must be really what they focus heavily on the most with the media. But there was a lot more, and Paul's track record is just astounding.
Before he even met Carla, it's just damn.
And even after, to be connected to a string of rapes, over 10 in 1990 and stuff. And it's like, what the hell, dude? I mean, it's just crazy. So, yeah. Stay tuned for new content. I'm just going to end this episode here because I was dealing with it all morning and I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I hear you.
And our monthly Facebook Live videos, of course, although tonight is this month's live. So come see us tonight.
Tonight. 9.
Yep, 9 o'clock about.
EST.
Yep, maybe fashionably late, like sometimes we usually are.
9:15, 9:18.
Yeah, so thank you very much for listening.
Yes.
I think that our lives are going to try to, after this, stick to the middle of the month. So if we can try to do like 15th or 16th, right around there, probably be.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
Where they're at.
And we'll let you know in the episode that week. We will do like a social media blitz where you will know that we're going live, guys.
Yeah.
We want you to be there.
There will be no way for you to miss it.
Exactly.
So we are going to be having a really cool paranormal investigation soon. So keep your eye out for that on the YouTube. The way you can do that is by hitting the subscribe button. You should smash it.
Mm-hmm.
You should hit the bell so you can get a ring ding ding every time we have new content.
Yeah.
You should leave us reviews wherever and however you are able. Anywhere you can, especially you listeners on Apple. Mm-hmm. And go to Facebook and leave us a recommendation. That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, I think we covered all that. Now you can just go over to our socials. If you haven't already, you can follow us on Facebook at
More Than Murder.
Which I also see that our URL pops up at /MTMpod.
Yes.
So maybe we should change this in the future. I'm not sure.
Well, no, it would be...
It's different.
Like, if
so you can
go to
find
Facebook,
us on Facebook if you type into the search bar, More Than Murder.
Yes. If you're like www.
Yeah, if you do facebook.com/MTMpod, that'll also bring you there.
Yes.
Just so you don't get confused.
Because even when I'm like adding... For like tagging purposes, I type in More Than Murder, not MTMpod.
Yeah.
So...
Which... Start using MTM Pod because we love our MTM.
We do.
We are the MTMPG. We are the MTM Pod. We are that 2 Ps. We are everything.
We're everything.
That's More Than Murder. So.
Yeah, that's us, guys.
All right. So now that you know where to go on Facebook for sure, you can go to Twitter and follow us at
_murder.
And then you can go to Insta and follow us there as well at
More Than Murder Pod.
And if you have any experiences with some weird people like Bernardo.
Did you have a close call anytime? I've heard those on podcasts and they're terrifying.
Yeah, tell us some of your close calls. Tell us sometimes how you were able to shoot a guy down. Tell us any of your stories that you want to tell us.
Yep.
You can email us those at the Gmail.
At the Gmail.
morethanmurderpod@gmail.com. You made me want to sing.
I know, right?
All right, so go do that. Go there, hit those buttons, get likes, or give us subscribes, follows, comments, shares, all that great stuff. We will share tonight on our live.
The blog.
Oh yeah, make sure you go to our website at www.morethanmurderpod.com.
Yup.
Because we will have pictures there of the disgusting Paul and Karla and also the photos of the victims, and we will also have episode sources and shit like that. So
everything, guys.
Make sure you check it.
Yeah.
Every week because it's different every week, just like we have different new episodes every week. So we have corresponding blog articles every week.
The blog.
I'm going to call it the blog. Yeah, so go there, do that, hit that button, and read the blog.
Yeah, and you can also, like, on Thursday afternoons-ish, you can go there and find out what the episode might be about the next day. We put a little teaser.
Yeah, a sneak peek on Thursday for you.
Sneaky peeky for you.
Yeah, maybe I'll find a alliteration that can go with that. Instead of Thirsty Thursday, it's kind of like a brief Thursday, but I gotta find something that starts with
We'll find it. We'll think of it. We'll start thinking of it. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening. We freaking love you guys.
We love you. Thank you. We're also going to be starting a Facebook group for the podcast soon, so make sure when we send out those invites, you say accept.
Yes, we want you to be a part of that. We want you to be able to share memes and articles and anything your little heart desires that has to pertain to paranormal, oddity, weird, true crime. I mean
everything that's More Than Murder. The haunted, the bloody, the creepy, the nutty. Come on, send us it. We want to read it. We want to see it. We do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
all right, guys.
We done. See you tonight.
Bye.
Bye.